Pearson gets into the 95 of Fultz. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona, and away go for the first time. Nicholas Porcel, Sean.
Looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Reed Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Dom's, possibly a little bit of contact.
Up now as we've got 3 wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let him go very far.
Go out here for Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
Just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
New stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out, and away we go for the very first time here at Oklahoma International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the Kimball Cup Series here at the Old Bastards Racing League. We are at Michigan here tonight for the Cup drivers to see what they can do, and it is going to be a good one. As always, I'm your host, James East, bringing the action 1080p 60 frames a second on behalf of Team Goon Squad. Now, last week at Richmond Raceway, Dale Copeland picked up his first Cup win. Can he make it back-to-back? Or is it going to be the likes of Josh Robinson, Tom Ogle, Clint Rice, or maybe Dwayne MacArthur that will bring home yet another win? Welcome all fans, friends, and family coming back out every Sunday night, enjoying the racing and supporting these drivers. Let us know who you're cheering on, as drivers will frequently have the broadcast pulled up on a separate monitor. If not, they just about always go back and watch it and afterwards to see what the fans are saying. And I know they absolutely appreciate it. It looks like qualifying is wrapping up here. Now we're going to go ahead and get these drivers out here onto the grid and get things started. So let's go ahead and run through the starting order here today. Starting on pole, Josh Robinson, the number 23 machine. His teammate Tom Ogle starting second. Clint Rice starting third. Dwayne MacArthur, the fast Canadian, starting fourth. Dale Copeland starting fifth. John Hinchcliffe starts sixth. Brian Lynch starting seventh. Darrell Winninger starting eighth. Lloyd Moore starts ninth. Roy Baker starting 10th. Michael Watt starting 11th. Wayne Hufford, the friendly Canadian, starting 12th as we cycled on back to Chris Bates starts 13th. Cameron Shosey starting 14th. Robert Pineapple Garisco starts 15th. Michael Mueller starting 16th. Bruce Pearson starting 17th. Clay Walker starts 18th. Brian Lindsay starting 19th. Alan Wanamaker starting 20th. Dustin Martinson starts 21st. Dean Gear, the pickle man himself, starts 22nd. Greg Hammond starting 23rd. Larry Corey starts 24th. And we're going to cycle it back just one more time to Mr. Kermit Gentry starting 25th. Michael Dow starting 26th. Terry Atwood starting 27th. Don Hastings starting 28th. Brian McRubbin starting 29th. Jim Smith starting 30th. Patrick Martindale starts 31st. And Mark Fish will round out this 32-car grid here today. Good to see that Martindale did make his way out. We were thinking that he was going to be missing today's main event. Had storm issues leading up to this feature, but thankfully able to get things going in time. Don't believe he got any qualifying time, though, that 93 Chevrolet, so it's going to be interesting to see how that one pans out. Good to see the fans coming in. TBLS getting a lot of love from the guys in the spectator area. As Packed CT giving his support. We got Jeremy Mayo also here in the chat, as well as, I believe that's Lit J Fox, as well as our friend Iron Spider Racing. We're going to do one lap behind our iRacing safety car and then get things going here. Michigan drives very similar to a super speedway. We've got 110 laps on the schedule. Now, we saw some drivers going for some very long fuel runs during practice. In theory, this could be a one-stop race for the drivers if we go green, but that is a big if. We saw several drivers really struggling with car control late in the run, getting them back, and the car was getting very loose, very free over the duration of those laps. Now, Terry Atwood, the 112, and Michael Mueller in the 71 both received DOLs. They're way at the back there, but the pace car is in. And we go green flag race with the two teammates, Robinson, Ogle on the front row, MacArthur, Rice your second row, Hinchcliffe, Copeland your third row. Now we're going to be keeping an eye on Copeland. That 55 picked up that win last week at Richmond, but already looks like we're going for a little bit of three-wide action there. MacArthur almost getting squeezed in the middle. And Michigan, just such a wide raceway, allows so much room to wiggle around here. As that looks like it's Clint Rice way up on the wall. No, that's, I'm trying to see who that is. That's Hinchcliffe in the number 8 machine going very, very high, tucked in behind MacArthur. MacArthur's up one spot, Hinchcliffe up 2. And what these drivers are doing right now, trying to avoid the rest of the field, getting away from him. Now, Michael Mueller has come down pit road. Not sure if he had an issue. He had that EOL penalty. But we did not hear about a drive-through penalty to be served by Mueller. Maybe wondering if he has some sort of hardware issue. Let's go a little bit further back to Cam Chosey, the number 13 machine. Right behind him, that's Chris Bates, Robert Orisco side by side, just ahead. Brian Lynch, Troy Baker, Michael Watts, a lot of heavy hitters. We have one driver check up there. I think that was Troy Baker up on the high side. Yes, it was, the number 18 Chevrolet driver. Losing a couple spots here. Thankfully, the field able to squeeze on through nice and easy. Now, today's race is scheduled to go about 115 minutes, not counting cautions and pit stops here in Michigan. And up front, Tom Ogle has just set the fastest lap of the race, a 39.26, using the draft off of his teammate Robinson. Now, MacArthur also shows a 39.26 in our live timing software, so that means it was just a couple of thousandths of a second, but now it's going to be Michael Watts back at 9th at 39.18. The field continues to get a little bit faster as the tires coming into their own. And for the most part, the field's still pretty stretched. Yeah, it's about the top 15 drivers. Chris Bates is at the end of this freight train trying to catch back up. Brian Lindsay, a little bit no man's land, that number 24 machine. And you can also see Walker, Pearson, Deere, Wanamaker, Hammond. So it looks like that's Bruce Pearson going side by side. Pearson down low. I think that's Clay Walker up on the high side, as well as Dean Deere in the 92. Now, just because they're about 6/10 back from, it's about 3/4 of a second back from the lead pack. Oh, we got somebody blinking up here. We just got to report that Cyril Wininger, the number 15 machine, has some sort of connectivity issues. Dale Copeland, the 55 machine, being very cautious behind Wininger here. Wininger's going to have to hop out of line if he keeps having those issues. Robinson out front, Ogle tucked in behind. MacArthur rounds out the top 3. Well, we've got Hinchcliffe and Rice making up the top 5 as it stands. Oh, and we do have a caution out. We're trying to figure out where it is. It looks like it may be Michael Mueller, and possibly Hastings may have been tied up in that one. Oh yeah, Hastings pointing the wrong direction here. And unfortunately, Hastings has too much damage, takes a tow back to pit road. Let's get that Team Goon Squad instant replay queued up. We're focused in on Hastings in the 32, and looked like Mueller might have just got little bit loose there in front of Hastings, absolutely collecting the 32 in that incident. Thankfully, the field able to get by. Let's see if we can get one more angle of that. Well, let's back that up. It looks like Mueller, I can't tell if he tagged the wall or just got loose. So Mueller just got loose, tries to chase up the track, and absolutely slams into Hastings there. And unfortunately, a hard hit front and rear for Hastings is going to put him back behind the virtual wall for quite a while here. We have our first caution of the night. Looks like everybody sans Ogle and Hinchcliffe are going to come down pit road. So it's Ogle, Hinchcliffe, Gear, Corey, Gentry opting to stay out the rest of the field coming down pit road. Looks like everybody's going to take 4 tires. I haven't seen anybody leave their pit stall early here. Oh, we've got a couple. Greg Hammond looks like he's on a 2-tire strategy, as well as Mark Fish. You've got 4 drivers going to stay on their original tires. A pair of drivers opting for a 2-tire stop here. Now, we've said it 100 times in the past. Cautions breed cautions, and now you've got drivers mixed skill sets, mixed abilities, as well as mixed tire strategies. We'll have to see how the field sorts this one out. A very quick caution to get things started here in Michigan. Looks like the field fairly well sorted here. Robinson, who is running up front, will be starting 5th. He is on a 4-tire stop after that lap 7 pit stop. Hinchcliffe and Ogle will be on the front row. Corey, Gear, your 2nd row. We get ready for that iRacing safety car to come down pit road. And we will fire them back up. Now again, we think drivers can hit about 50 to 55 laps on a fuel run here in Michigan. There's the safety car on the right side of your screen diving down pit road. Ogle Hinchcliffe will set the start. And we are green flag racing once more. Ogle with a great start. Look at Dean Gear. Showing a little bit of drive there alongside the inside of Hinchcliffe. Right behind them, that's Gentry and Corey side by side. They're also on their original tires. Robinson, number 23 machine, is going to try and get through here as quick as he can, putting those new tires to work. Now your top 4 drivers again. 7 lap older tires than Robinson, MacArthur, running 5th and 6th here. You can tell already the field getting a little bit spread out. The top 4 drivers have the slightest bit of a breakaway. But Robinson charging forward here, and then number 23 Ford Mustang. He's tucked in behind Kermit Gentry. Gentry, who opted to stay out, currently showing up 21 positions, but it might be 20 as Robinson dives to the inside line, and we're going to have another caution coming out. As we show Bruce Pearson in this one, Brian McRubbin taking an alternative line through the track. I'm trying to see what happened there to bring that one out. We're focused in on Brian McRubbin's 09 machine. On the left side of your screen, looks a little bit loose there. Oh no, it's going to be ahead of him. Oh, that's Bruce Pearson having a moment. Man, Brian McRubbin just slams into the 22 machine. As Pearson pirouettes. Let's see that once more, focusing on Pearson and number 22. Oh, it's ahead of Pearson. This is going to take a little bit of work here to see who that was. I believe that is the number 18. Originally involved in that. And then poor Pearson, nowhere to go. It's just the slightest bit of a bump, tries to chase it on the track. Does a good job locking up the brakes. Some of the field able to skate through here. So look at this. Here comes McRubbin. Absolutely drilling Pearson. And sending him off to the infield. So second caution very early in. Let's see if Hinchcliffe, Gear, and Gentry, it looks like they're going to stay out here. Ogle, Corey, Baker, Atwood, Pearson, Hammond. All down pit road. Looks like Brian McRubbin, unfortunately, having to retire from this event. He will not be making his way back out. Hero Winninger has also parked number 15 machine in the hauler. And we're waiting to see if John Hastings in that 32 is able to get back out there. So an interesting play call here from Hinchcliffe, Gear, and Gentry to stay out on those original tires even longer. As these drivers are in for a very long night, if this is how we keep things going. Now, here at the Kimball Cup Series, I'm going to get a little bit of confirmation, but I believe it's only a 7 incident point limit that these drivers are allowed. Excuse me, it is a 9 incident point limit. Now, a car-to-car contact here is 4 points. So extremely easy to hit that limit. So we've got them gridded back up side by side. And let's see if we can maybe try and get some sort of run going here. Dustin Martinson up in the chat. Pumped for some left turns here at Michigan. Let's Let's see, with Hinchcliffe in gear as well. No, that's going to be it. I believe Gentry came down pit road on lap. Excuse me, he did not stay out. He did stay out. He's going to be accompanied by Josh Robinson on the second row. So Hinchcliffe, gear, Gentry still on their original tires. Pace car's heading down pit road. And Hinchcliffe gets a great launch of the number 8 machine. But look out, here comes Josh Robinson on 7-lap newer tires up high, gear diving low. Robinson staying up high, trying to tuck in behind Hinchcliffe. Everybody's seeing where they're going to fall in line here. You heard Hinchcliffe side by side in the race lead. They put about 3/10 on Robinson. Behind Robinson, you got Copeland, Moore, Gentry, Watts, MacArthur, Garisco, a whole lot of drivers. Hinchcliffe holds on to first, but you've got a very hungry Dean Gear in the 92 trying to make something happen. And now Robinson closing that gap back up. Dean Gear shoots to the bottom through 3 and 4. Hinchcliffe wants to hold on to the lead, but here comes Robinson charging up. He's getting followed as well by Dale Copeland in the 55. Copeland's definitely got some momentum built up late into this season. Hinchcliffe and Gear side by side for the lead. Gear down low. Hinchcliffe against the wall in the back stretch. Gear gets a nose ahead of Hinchcliffe. Will he have the speed through 3 and 4? Slides up in front of Hinchcliffe. Hinchcliffe shoots back towards the bottom. And it's too tough to call at the line who got the credit for the lap led. I think it may have been Hinchcliffe there. And keep an eye out way back in the field. Tom Ogle, the White Claw back number 11, running 15th. Just put down the fastest lap of the race. As Hinchcliffe and Gear are throwing haymakers at each other. Oh, we got a report Cameron Shosey took a tow to pit road. Wonder if he has some sort of connectivity issues here. Hinchcliffe holds on to the lead, but now Josh Robinson's working his way up into second. Gear falls back to third. Copeland still fourth, as Lloyd Moore holds on to a top 5 position, that number 26 machine. Here we go, Robinson, Gear side by side for second. No room for mistakes for these drivers as the pack is extremely tight. You can see behind, I think that was Dwayne MacArthur. Yes, it was. No, it's going to be behind, I believe that's Clint Rice. Yeah, the number 6 machine, as well as Michael Watts right ahead. Everybody trying to find what lines are going to work best for them, searching and hunting for some clean air. Now I'm surprised the racing up the front hasn't slowed the pace down too terribly here. And there goes Robinson in the backstretch, pulling a 10th on Hinchcliffe for the race lead. Gear and Moore now fighting for third. Gear, who may have used up a little bit too much tire, fighting against Hinchcliffe for the lead. Now Robinson's going to get the clean air on the front of that number 23. He came in on lap 7, took 4 tires underneath him. The nearest driver with 5-lap newer tires than Robinson is going to be Tom Ogle in the White Claw back number 11. He came in lap 12, but again, he's still back in 13. So he's going to need a very spectacular long run to try and put those new tires to use. Now, Hinchcliffe and Moore not letting Robinson get away with it here, staying right on the back of that 23. And very impressive, the side-by-side racing we have all across the track here. There's Warren Copeland with a very aggressive Watts in the 84. Watts also going to the high line, keeping Copeland down low. Oh, we've got somebody going for a ride. That's Dale Copeland, who was able to hold on to it. Oh no, and the worst rejoin we have seen here at OBRL is gonna bring out a huge crash. Copeland just took out Wayne Hufford, and it is an absolute parking lot here at Michigan. And unfortunately, that's gonna be a pretty easy one for finger pointing as we get the replay queued up. Here is Copeland's rejoin. Wayne Hufford had no idea it was coming, just gets absolutely pitted. And then things go from bad to worse. Hufford does a good job holding the brakes, but the field comes barreling in here. Copeland, Gentry, Dow, all involved in that one. I mean, that is a long crash. And a lot of drivers going to be facing this one, a little bit of damage. And I wonder if Kermit Gentry immediately took a tow back to pit road following that incident. I'm wondering if he hit the incident limit. Only 24 laps in, and we're already starting to have drivers disqualified. The chat, the spectator area, all in agreement here on this one. Now Watts is staying out in the 84. His last pit stop was on lap 7. Unfortunately, we were talking well about Copeland before this event. He is not looking well for that back-to-back win here. Like, I think that's going to be Bruce Pearson, maybe getting the lucky dog in the waiver round. Pearson almost 13 laps down, number 22. And we keep this up, we're not going to have many drivers still in it here by the time we get to a lap 110. It'll be interesting to see if Watts takes a late pit stop, sacrifice the track position, or if he's going to hope for another caution. As he's on 7-lap older tires than the rest of the field. Now something has happened to Mueller. Triggering our crash report. Not sure what happened there in the 71. Let's get that one queued up. Thankfully no incident. Just slows down enough to trigger our iRacing software saying it was an incident. So Mueller back down pit road. Watts is going to stay out in 84. Dustin Martinson let us know he's got some extensive repairs. He is going to try and rejoin the race, though. But we are gridded up. Watson Robinson in the front row. Hinchcliffe Lynch your second row. MacArthur and Ogle, two longtime rivals on your third row. Pace car will come in this time by. There we go. It shoots off down the track. And we are green flag racing once more. Let's see what Watts can do with those older tires underneath them. As Hinchcliffe looks antsy to make a run for the lead. Robinson takes the high line. And where did Dwayne MacArthur come from? Rocketing up towards the front, now up into second as he's side by side with Watts. Watts is going to fire back the inside line. MacArthur does have the draft support of Hinchcliffe's number 8 machine right behind. I believe that's Brian Lynch in the 9 as well. Though Lynch has other plans as he goes down low. Ogle also tucked in behind Hinchcliffe, the number 8, trying to use that draft as advantage. So it's Robinson out front, getting some more laps led under his belt in 23. Clean air in front. He's hoping we can get a bit of a green flag run going. And things are getting a little bit dicey there. Looked like that was Ogle getting squeezed front and rear in the number 11. Trying to get that White Claw backed Ford Mustang up into the top 3. MacArthur looks to be stuck on the low line next to Clint Rice in the all-blue number 6. Here comes Brian Lynch in the 9. He's looking for an inside opening, as well as Robert Garisco in the 28. Garisco's going high, trying to find any way through he can. Now Robinson out front is pulling about a quarter of a second gap, as Watts doing a fantastic job with those older tires, holding on to the second place spot against Ogle's number 11. Yeah, we had some fans asking what the update is. Wayne Hufford maybe didn't take as much abuse as we thought. He's running 13th in the number 75. There was contact there. That was Watson. I believe that was Rice. Had a little bit of a bumping and grinding going on. Dale Copeland's down pit road in the 55. And look at that, there's Robert Garisco squeezed in the middle. These drivers have put themselves squarely in the vortex of danger. And what's going on up front? Tom Ogle taking up the lead from his teammate Robinson. Both drivers on the same fuel and tire strategy. Watts doing a good job holding on to third. But Robinson's going to fire back against his teammate. It's Robinson at the line by about 0.04 of a second. You see a large cloud of smoke there. I'm wondering if that was Dale Copeland. May have let the magic smoke out of that 55 machine. And I don't think anybody's told Robinson and Ogle, their teammates here, still side by side all the way through 1 and 2. This might allow Watts, MacArthur, Hinchcliffe, Lynch, Garisco in that second place back, third place back, I should say, maybe to catch up a little bit here. Bayo pointing out that Chris Bates has fallen back to 20th. We were careful to avoid talking about him with the commentator's curse. Now Bates came in on lap 24, is on a 4-tire strategy, but with the amount of cautions we've seen so far here tonight, I really wouldn't count anybody out of this thing. Even drivers that are 1-2 laps down, I would say if things stay true to form from what we've seen, I would say anybody's got a shot at this thing if they can just make it till the end. And Watts doing a fantastic job on those older tires. Staying in the hunt here, but he's got MacArthur and Hinchcliffe hot on his heels. That 84 machine has the 83, the Bass Pro back Ford Mustang MacArthur, the fast Canadian, who wants to get up there and ruin the Team Miata party at the front of the field. And maybe even more importantly, try and get some clean air on the front of that car if we do get a green flag run going. Looks like Robinson's going to be content giving a bit of a push here to Ogle. I think they want to put a gap on Watts and his drivers behind him, knowing the rest of the field's going to have to eat up a little bit of tires trying to get around that 84 Watts. MacArthur looking for an opening there against the 84, goes down low. But this is going to slow them down just a little bit, give maybe even more of an advantage to Ogle and Robinson, linked up nose to tail going into turn 1. MacArthur does not have too much draft support from Hinchcliffe. Hinchcliffe is going to try and follow here on the inside line. He has to be careful to avoid pushing wide out of 2 into that corner panel of Watts. MacArthur has broken clean here in that 3rd place position. He wants to link up to the back of Robinson, and then he can go into a bit of a fuel and tire saving mode. Taking a quick peek, out of the 32 drivers that entered this race, looks like we only have 24 out on track, so dropping about 8 so far. As Watts losing a little bit of time, this could be the tire fall off. He was maybe hoping for another early caution, but maybe in a little bit of trouble here if this thing keeps going green, because he's going to be off strategy if he does have to come down pit road, as he's losing yet another spot to Brian Lynch, the number 9. Justin Martinson is getting back out on track at the number 19. After extensive repairs on the Chevrolet, he's in his pit stall for 11.5 minutes here. And there's your top 3, Ogle, Robinson, MacArthur. You can just see Hinchcliffe behind as well as Watts. Hinchcliffe kind of in no man's land, trying to get back up in there. I'm wondering, I don't want to hit it with a commentator's curse, but maybe this is the green flag run the field was looking for. Of course, for Watts, he would really appreciate a caution to stay on strategy with the other drivers, as he's on 17 lap older tires than the rest of the field. Now it seems the top 9 starting to break away. We focus in on Brian Lindsay, the number 24 Toyota driver. He's at the tail end of this lead pack, sitting in 9th. Got about a half-second advantage. You can just barely see Wayne Hufford at the 75. There we go, getting Hufford on screen. If Hufford has any aero damage, he's going to be struggling to keep up with that lead pack. And he needs to link up with Alan Wanamaker, who's sitting about 4/10 behind. Michael Watson, Clint Rice having a little bit of a battle there for 5th. We've got Dale Copeland joining us in the spectator area. The infield care center has moved over to the grandstands of the rest of the fan with a comment, "That was fun." Still watching Watts trying to hold on to those older tires. Now he's still up 5 spots from his qualifying position, but this is definitely where the tire wear is starting to bite back. As you see Watts running a little bit more of a swooping line up the medium to high line, trying to save a little bit of tires, but Clint Rice able to use a little rubber that's still left underneath them. Now in practice, we saw drivers hit about 50 laps on fuel. That means your top 5 drivers, we'd be expecting to come in around lap 75 if we stay true to form. Watts, though, would have to come in around lap 60 or so. Now, that does not account for caution laps and a little bit of fuel saving that could be done. Rice moving up into 5th. Now it's going to be Brian Lynch taking a shot at Watts. There's Kermit Gentry rolling back out on track. Gentry spent 10 minutes and 40 seconds in his pit stall. Poor John Hastings at 32. He's been in the pit road for 33 minutes at this point. Up front, it's still Ogle, Robinson, MacArthur, a 3-car slight breakaway, about 4/10 ahead of John Hinchcliffe's number 8. Also got a little bit of a battle here, Hinchcliffe versus Rice for the 4th place position. I'm thinking at this point in the run, most of these drivers are on the same fuel and tire strategy. I think it's going to be a bit of a game of follow the leader and see what happens. Now Rice did have a long pit stop, 22 seconds on that lap 24. So he might have had a little bit of damage. He opted to get hammered back into shape, duct tape things back where they need to be. And does pull the position against Hinchcliffe as they put about 4/10 spacing between themselves and Watts, who has fallen back to 6th. Now Watts has Brian Lynch, Brian Lindsay, Robert Orisco, Wayne Hufford, and Alan Wanamaker behind. That will make up the lead pack. You got about a 1.5 seconds back to Dean Gear in 12th. So the gap kind of varies, but 11 drivers in this lead pack. And Rice must be feeling really good here, starting to pull in those lead drivers. We got James Waldo joining us in the spectator area. Always great seeing him. If I remember correctly, the newly crowned grandfather of Waldo. Another patch report. There's Patrick Martindale, Michael Dow, Terry Atwood battling for the 16th place spot. Now Martindale did not think he was going to make this grid due to a power outage. Terry Atwood, the 112, he had an EOL penalty. So good to see all these drivers overcoming a bit of bad luck coming into tonight. Kind of set the tone poorly for them, but still able to thrive here. And it's all about seat time here at the Kimball Cup Series. The more laps you can click off, the better your racing career is going to go. As we watch Martindale and Hammond still battling for that 15th place spot. Jim Smith, another rookie driver in the 114, ahead in 14. Smith is up 16 positions. And as a reminder to these drivers, rookie drivers not able to qualify. A little bit of a moment there from Greg Hammond getting a little bit loose. I believe that was out of 2. Is allowing Martindale to close the gap. Martindale shoot up the inside line, but I think I just heard a Terry Atwood who has met the outside wall in the 112. Yes, that was him. Atwood's going to lose another spot here to Larry Corey's number 17 machine. I'm very hopeful and dare I say optimistic that we're going to see a green flag run here. As Wayne Hufford doing a great job overcoming that damage taken to the 75 machine on that most previous caution. He's up to 9th here. Mark What the Fish, number 42 Toyota driver down pit road. Now Hufford and Garisco trying to catch up to the back of Brian Lynch's number 9 machine. Lynch was 4 tenths ahead, but it looks like Hufford's got something in the tank for him. Pulling a full 10th there in the backstretch. Dustin Martinson having to park that machine here tonight. Too much suspension damage on the front of that machine. It just was not serviceable. Martinson was in the number 19 Chevrolet. So hate to see that for him. Mark Fish also on pit road for a long time, a minute and counting so far. And there's another spot for Brian Lindsay's number 24, working his way around Michael Watts. Up front, Ogle just clicking off laps in that number 11. I'm not sure when the move happened. Oh, it's very recently. MacArthur made the move up into second around Robinson. Let's see what happened to Robinson for 23. Oh, look, there's a little bit of net code there. Robinson looks like he almost got pushed up the track. Didn't see any visible contact there between Robinson and MacArthur. And very quickly, those top 3 have rejoined. Now the big question is, if MacArthur was using that front bumper to help motivate Robinson up to the high line, will he do the same against Ogle's number 11? I would be surprised with the pit window opening up in about 15 to 20 laps. No good reason that I can think of that you would want to be up front at this point. Ogle's going to be burning more fuel than anybody else on track at this point, or most drivers out on track at this point. And your top 3, quite a healthy breakaway, about 6 tenths up over Clint Rice in 4th. Rice still has John Hinchcliffe's number 8 machine stuck right on that back bumper. Oh, and look at the move by Robinson at the inside line. I think he wants to get back up there to his teammate Ogle. But MacArthur is not going to make it easy here, hoping he can get that number 23 machine to use up just a little bit more tire over the run. And look at Clint Rice here. Working his way to battle with the top three. Rice a bit of a dark horse in this one. And that might go well for him if MacArthur and Robinson keep battling for that second and third place position. Now coming into tonight, it was Robinson your points leader, MacArthur second, Ogle in third. Clint Rice running a limited schedule here. This is only his 8th start. He does have a pair of thirds to his name. Technical tracks such as Pocono and Dover are where he was able to make those results happen. On board with Rice, that number 6 machine. You can see number 23 of Robinson just ahead. Just got a bit of a peek there of MacArthur. Now this is where we're going to find out, has Rice developed the tire saving prowess that your current top three, Ogle, MacArthur, and Robinson, have honed over the years. As we are past the halfway mark here at Michigan. And while we are at lap 60, I want to give a special shout out to our good friend Greg McDaniel, Mr. Kimball himself, recovering at home. Hopefully we'll see McDaniel back out on track soon. We miss him greatly, and always a great guy to have in and around the racetrack. Look, we have another little pack starting to shape up. This is Brian Lindsay, John Hinchcliffe, Michael Watts, Brian Lynch, Wayne Hufford running in the 5th through 9th place position. They're about 1.1 seconds back from Clint Rice, who sits in that top 4 position. Rice a quarter of a second off the back bumper of Robinson in 3rd. Just about everybody out on track except for Michael Watts came in on lap 24. Took 4 fresh tires underneath him and a full tank of gas. Watts' last pit stop was on lap 7 under caution. And I say that Michael Watts comes down pit road as the leaders start their 62nd lap. That is about 55 laps for Watts. So if things stay true to form, we would expect to see Ogle and friends come down pit road to lap 79 at the latest. Your top 4 is at standstill: Ogle, MacArthur, Robinson, and Rice. Brian Lindsay about 1.4 seconds back from this lead pack, and he's got John Hinchcliffe on his rear bumper, but they've got a breakaway from Brian Lynch and Wayne Hufford. I've got to say, that smoke on the pit road gets me worried every time. As we get a report, Wayne Hufford has just picked up another spot. It's going to be 5 gains so far, this time against Brian Lynch, the number 9. But Lynch fires back on the high side. I wonder if Hufford is facing aero damage. That car can be very quick, tucked in behind somebody, but once you get out of the draft, sometimes if you've got damage on the front, it's like throwing a parachute out the window. Ooh, side by side they go in the battle for 7th. Hufford down low, Brian Lynch up high. Lynch, the What About Amiobi, number 75 Chevrolet, versus Lynch in the Hooters back, number 9 Chevy. And there is Michael Watts with fresh tires underneath him. He's going to be trying to blitz by these guys. And does just that, putting those new tires to work. Now I wonder if Watts is going to have enough time for this run to unlap himself. As you can tell just how quick he is with those fresh tires underneath him. Unfortunately for him, Lindsay and Hinchcliffe were 2 seconds back. We don't quite see that 84 in frame yet. 50 laps left to go here at Michigan. Top 4 drivers pulling even more time against the rest of the field. Waiting to see if we see Watts start to interject himself into this party. Again, very impressed with Clint Rice here, that number 6. Holding on to some drivers that are extremely experienced. Cody M saying the live stream is canceled. Not quite sure what that means. As we are still rocking and rolling here on the YouTube side of things. MacArthur looks like he's starting to put a little bit of pressure on Ogle. And we do have some green flag stops. Brian Lindsay, John Hinchcliffe, the first 2 drivers to dive down pit road for some green flag stops. There is Michael Watts unlapping himself the good old-fashioned way in the 84. And here we go, Ogle, MacArthur, Robinson, Rice, all down pit road together. Wayne Hufford in the 75 stays out. So Hufford's going to enjoy some clean air here. Looks like Robert Garisco, Jim Smith, and Dean Gear also stay out. Hufford looks like he's getting set up for a pit entry. Yes, there goes Hufford. Let's see, does Garisco? No, Garisco's going to stay on another lap there. His last pit stop was on lap 24. Dean Gear also staying out in the 92. So Hufford, Smith, Hammond all on pit road. We're still waiting to see when Garisco, Gear, Corey, and Bates come down pit road. So your top drivers, your top three have yet to box. It's Garisco, Gear, and Bates. As we got Martinson saying, yeah, Garisco scoring those lap lead points wherever you get him with the number 28 machine. Waiting to see when these three drivers come down pit road. How that's going to shape off after green flag stops. In theory, these guys should be able to make it till the end. Without needing another pit stop. Garisco finally comes down pit road. Hard on the binders. What about Dean Gear? Is he going to stay a little while longer than 92 machine as well? Looks like he is. I think he's just going to miss out on the lap lead bonus. Chris Bates also down pit road, the number 81. So we're Gear. Ooh, very aggressively hopped to the inside line there. So Gear is going to come down pit road. Oh, very hard on the brakes. And here's what's going to be the battle for the lead. Tom Ogle versus Michael Watts. Watts might be able to salvage a bit of a race here. Came in on lap 61 for the pit stop. There goes Ogle way down the inside. But it was Watts at the line by 300ths of a second. We thought Watts was going to be in big trouble. Staying out on those original tires, suddenly finds himself back in it. Ogle and Watts 3.7 seconds ahead of Josh Robinson. Not sure what happened to Robinson, as he has fallen way, way back. Now Robinson does find himself in a bit of a predicament as those third place back drivers working through lap traffic. Yeah, definitely a very exciting moment as the field was cutting through here. The big question is, oh, it looked like, there we go. Yeah, that was MacArthur and Hinchcliffe side by side as well in the battle for fourth. How long will these drivers spend battling though? Because I would imagine Ogle and Watts are only going to stretch that advantage they have up front. Robinson's very quickly pulled away as MacArthur looks like he's going to put Hinchcliffe right behind him. Brian Lindsay in 6th. Clint Rice now sitting 7th. Up front, it's still Ogle and Watts linked up. You can get a nice wide angle here. I mean, that gives you a good idea of how far ahead these guys are. You can just see Robinson coming into frame and the number 23 machine. And Robinson, he's got 6/10 ahead of Dwayne MacArthur. Now, I think there's still enough laps left here. It's me about 32 laps left to go. I think if Robinson, MacArthur, Hinchcliffe, Lindsay, Rice can maybe link up here and not battle, they can pull themselves up towards the front and whittle away at that 3.1 second gap that the leaders currently have. As Clint Rice back in 6th in the app number 6 machine. Looks off at 39.03, fastest lap of the race. And Rice does it again, a 39.03. He is cooking here, the number 6. So the lap time's getting pretty quick. Drivers feeling good with the tire wear. And it looks like Robinson's starting to close that gap up as well to Michael Watts. They've got it down to 2.4 seconds. Yeah, we had a good point from Dustin Martins in the spectator area as well. While it does make sense sometimes to tuck in and see if you can pull out, or pull up, I should say, to the drivers in front of you, some guys such as Hinchcliffe, they're just enjoying the racing for the racing as we watch Hinchcliffe and Rice going at it for the battle for 5th. That's really what it's all about here every Sunday night, is finding some good drivers that you can trust to run door to door with and just enjoying the racing for what it is. And here comes Brian Lindsay as well, charging for the number 24. He's up 12 positions. Car chargers so far the night, though. Patrick Martindale, the 93, he's up 17 positions. We believe he was not able to qualify due to the intermittent weather he was having, the lack of power. For the first time in a long time, Robinson is getting closer and closer to Michael Watts. And I think MacArthur is going to help him get there. Now, Ogle's pulled a 1.6 second gap over Watts. Watts now only a half second of that number 23 machine. Oh, and here we go. The battle for the second is happening quick. Now, Watts is only on 8-lap older tires than most of the drivers out on track, but I thought he had fantastic pace. And while this is going on, Ogle's pulled almost a 2-second gap out front. I think Robinson may get a little bit of a breakaway here if MacArthur's not able to clear Watts with the quickness. That's the last thing MacArthur wants, is the two Team Miata drivers out front to get a bit of a breakaway. Oh, we get a massive blink there. I think that was on the broadcast side and not the drivers. Oh, we've got big problems up here in the booth. Hopefully that gets corrected. Because we had a massive blink up here in the broadcast booth. Maybe we're facing some storms. Now Watts is racing with Phoenix Racing, so he is not in the Team Miata party. And he has fallen about 6/10 back from Robinson and MacArthur, who were linked up. They're trying to pull closer to Ogle, who's 1.6 seconds ahead. As we just saw the live timing tower click over. 25 laps left to go here in Michigan. Robinson and MacArthur still linked up, less than 2/10 between each other at all times. Not gaining much ground on Ogle here. We know these drivers should be able to go till the end on fuel and be about 5 to 10 laps good on fuel, excess fuel. And I'm not sure what Ogle's been able to figure out here, but gaining even more ground. I'm not sure if that's the clean air on the front of that number 11 machine. Oh, as we just had a pass for second, MacArthur. Maybe thought Robinson was not charging forward quickly enough. And slowing down the race pace. It looks like he wants to battle for second, get the clean air, but this is giving even more of an advantage to Ogle. As Ogle gains about 2/10 as Robinson and MacArthur side by side. And that's also allowing Clint Rice, the number 6 machine, in fourth. He's rapidly closing the gap to these second and third place drivers. Rice doing everything he can to get in the mix here. He suddenly sees a shot of a podium right in front of him. Rice has those pair of thirds to his name. He would love a second so far this season. Look at the massive run from Clint Rice. The problem Rice is going to have at number 6, if he has anything, it's going to be where to put it, as Robinson and MacArthur are taking up the whole track ahead of him. On board once more with Rice. Look at the closing speed that Rice has here. Some of the drivers let us know that a low pass, very tough to do, and that's maybe why Robinson's guarding that high line, that medium to high line. And while this battle's been going on, Ogle has pulled the advantage now to over 2 seconds to Robinson, MacArthur, and Rice, who you can throw a blanket over. It's 20 laps left to go here at Michigan. Ogle's out front, 1.9 seconds ahead. Robinson, MacArthur, Rice, second through fourth. Michael Watt still holding on to a top 5 after quite a wild evening. And notable mention as well, Wayne Hufford still holding on to 8th. We would thought he would have been forced into an early retirement here. Thankfully, after the early cautions, things kind of got in a bit of a groove. We had that green flag pit stop, and we think we're good to go till the end on fuel. Now, if we do have a caution, I would imagine just about everybody's going to opt for fresh tires underneath them. MacArthur's still looking for an opening against Robinson. We've seen that inside line just not work out well for the 83. He's going to try it once more. A pretty substantial run out of 4. MacArthur ahead by about 200 to the second at the line, but is he going to be able to slide up in front of Robinson's 23 machine? I think he's going to be able to here. I think he's clear. Yes, MacArthur. Ooh, and look at that. Robinson having to chase the car. Gets loose out of 2. Let's see if Rice strikes while the fire is hot here. Because MacArthur extremely quickly pulled a half second over Robinson. MacArthur's going to try and track down Ogle, who's 1.8 seconds ahead. Now we're watching Rice seize the opportunity. Looks to the inside line in the battle for 3rd. Trying to shuffle Robinson back and forth. Now it looks like Rice is going to do just that. A very clean textbook pass through 3 and 4. Rice guarding the inside line, but Robinson closing the gap extremely quickly. Looks like Robinson lifted pretty heavy into 1 there. Rice was a bit of a dark horse coming into tonight. He's a half second back from MacArthur, 2.2 seconds back from Ogle, your race leader. Maybe Rice is going to get that second that he's been looking for. Try and get some stats pulled up here. So Rice has never finished higher than 3rd in any of the Old Bastards Racing Cup Series events. MacArthur holding on to 2nd. 1.5 seconds back from Ogle. Now let's check in on Ogle. That looked like that was Bruce Pearson, I believe, who got put another lap down. Traffic hopping out of the way for MacArthur, not wanting to get tied up in that one. And it looks like Rice really has some momentum here, as he's put about a half second on Robinson. Sean Foles joining us. He is at the actual Michigan event, watching the virtual Michigan event. Thankfully in Sim we're having a little bit better weather, he says. Well, here's a heated battle. Brian Lindsay, Michael Watts battling for 5th. Looks like Lindsay's going to make it stick. There's John Hemsco for number 8. He was a front runner early on here tonight. Looks like Lee Warsdale also at the quote-unquote real-life NASCAR event. Now, as it stands, 23 of the 32 entries still out on track here. Our Chargers now, Jim Smith, the rookie, the 114, and it's going to be Patrick Barnhill, the 93, takes over the most positions gained as he just put a spot on Jim Smith. But still a notable comment there for Smith, the rookie driver, the triple digit, is up 14 positions. And showing the wily veterans he's still got what it takes. There is Wayne Hufford keeping his head down in a battle with Lloyd Moore and Brian Lynch. So 3 different battles going on track. The battle for 4th with Robinson, Lindsay, Watts. The battle for 8th with Hufford, Moore, and Lynch. And the battle for 13th with Smith, Martindale, Hammond, and Gear. Right now, cameras focused in on that battle for 8th between Hufford and Moore. Brian Lynch looking for any sort of opening. Let's go a little bit further back. You got Patrick Martindale getting chased by Greg Hammond and Dean Gear. Jim Smith has worked his way back into 3rd, so both Smith and Martindale now up 17 positions each. 10 laps left to go, though. It's still the Tom Ogle show up front, and he's 1 1/4 seconds ahead of Dwayne MacArthur. Clint Rice sitting in 3rd. Let's make it 9 laps left to go as Ogle rocking and rolling here. Doesn't look like too much traffic ahead of that number 11 machine. And we go back to the extremely heated battle for 8th. Hufford, Moore, and Lynch going at it here. Hufford, the number 75, he's up on the high side. Moore down low, the number 26, sponsored by me. And then Brian Lynch has a front row seat. Number 9 is kind of watching this one unfold. The laps rapidly clicking off. Your race leader Ogle wants this thing to go green till the end. But we've got some pretty heated battles. We're back, focused in on Jim Smith's 114 machine. Martindale, Gear, and Hammond have closed the gap back up. Seven laps left to go here at Michigan. Ogle still holding about a 1.16 second advantage over MacArthur. MacArthur's going to need a little bit of luck here if he wants to catch up to Ogle. Last time by, Ogle a 40.11, MacArthur a 40.09. The drivers a full second off their fastest laps of the race with the tire wear. MacArthur's gaining about 0.06 of a second per lap. With 6 laps left to go, it's not going to be enough. And it looks like MacArthur may have company here from Clint Rice. Has closed the gap to 1/4 of a second. Well, it looked like Rice, I just saw the tail end of it, might have gotten a little bit loose there. Dropping 0.2 rather quickly. Ogle out front, that number 11. You can see MacArthur and Rice over a second back. 5 laps left to go. Ogle and MacArthur, identical lap times, 40.16 is Rice in 3rd, a 40.39 after that little bobble. Fairly certain he got loose out of turn 2. The exact same thing we saw happen to Robinson, number 23 machine. And we talked about it very early on in the broadcast. Drivers were talking about the rear end really loosening up and getting free over the duration of the run. Now, if Ogle can take the white flag, we will not have a late race caution as we're 4 laps left to go. And Jim Smith, the rookie, doing a great job against some seasoned veterans here at the Kimball Cup Series, as he's trying to fend off Martindale, Gear, and Hammond all at once. Martindale looking low against the 114. Smith running the medium line. This has got to be a tough spot for the drivers. They don't have a lot of tire to really move the car around where they want. Dean Gear's going to make it a 3-wide situation as he goes low. Gear down low. Martindale in the middle. Smith up high as we cross the start-finish line. And this is the battle for 13th, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't the battle for the lead. And keep an eye out, Greg Hammond also in the mix here. The number 88 is kind of watching and waiting. Drivers hitting speeds in excess of 209 miles an hour here at Michigan. It's 3 laps left to go. Great racing across the track. We've got Moore and Hinchcliffe battling for 7th. You've got that heated battle with Martindale, Hammond, Smith, and Gear in the battle for 13. And unless we have a caution or a major moment, as we click the timer over 2 laps left to go, Ogle is looking good here, as he is still 1.4 seconds ahead of MacArthur. Now coming to tonight, MacArthur is 23 points back from Robinson. Ogle was 76 points behind MacArthur. So this may change some championship implications. We unfurl the white flag. And we will run this thing till the end here at Michigan. And we will not see a late race caution. And I think it's going to be smooth sailing for Ogle. Ogle making his way down the Michigan backstretch for the final time. Into turns 3 and 4. And there we go. Tom Ogle will pick up his 2nd win of the season. Dwayne MacArthur will finish 2nd, and Clint Rice will claim yet another 3rd for him and his team. We'll get these drivers up here into victory lane after the post-race shenanigans. And let's get their post-race photos as well. Oh, MacArthur got a little bit hot there. There we finally go. Ogle, MacArthur, and Rice, the podium celebration photos. And let's see what Ogle has for the fans here at Michigan. Nothing. He has no celebratory donuts. He is past his bedtime, and he is ready to call it a night. So we're waiting on Ogle, MacArthur, and Rice to make their way up here into victory lane. As we're waiting for our drivers to get here. We've got Ogle. We're still waiting on Rice and MacArthur. And we'll get things started with Clint Rice, the number 20 machine. Clint, welcome back. Another top 3, padding the resume in a wild race here at Michigan.
Yep, it was real busy. And then traffic and tires played a factor.
Now, I was going to say, we've seen you getting faster and faster, more and more podium finishes here. Are you able to pick up a lot, being able to tuck in behind guys such as Ogle, MacArthur, and Robinson, those late runs, and kind of work on that tire management?
Maybe a little bit. I think the biggest thing is maybe getting to practice a little bit more. I'm one of those kind of guys that's usually last minute showing up and end up getting lucky. But here lately, I've been getting more practice time, so I'm able to, I guess, be more consistent the way that they are.
Well, it seemed like it worked out well for you. I mean, consistent start to finish, started third, finishing third. Seemed like the long run pace of the number 6 machine was great. Was there any strategy that you maybe in hindsight wish you changed, or are you pretty happy with how things unfolded?
I mean, couldn't have did any better other than me, Dwayne, and Mr. Robinson sliding through our pits. Had that not happened, it probably would have been a lot tighter finish. But it was all fun, and hey, couldn't ask for more. Good night.
Well, Clint, it's always great to have you back up here again. Having a whole lot more thirds on the race results now than in seasons past. So I know you're pumped. And who do you want to give a shout to that helps put that number 6 Exxon machine up here in the top 3?
Let's say hello to the sponsor, Kim Bowl, and I want to thank the admins for putting this on. I appreciate it, y'all. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Clint, always a pleasure, and hope to have you back up here next week, my friend.
Take it easy.
Thank you, sir. That was Clint Rice bringing it home in third, but up next, the world-famous Canadian Dwayne MacArthur bringing it home in second. Dwayne, not an optimistic start here at Michigan, but it seems like things kind of got back to their usual Kimball self late in the race on that one.
Yeah, I didn't have any friends at the beginning of the race. There's 6 or 7 Team Miatas up there, and seems like every time I tried to do anything, I just went backwards. It wasn't that much fun.
Now, late in the race, it seemed like you were content following Robinson for quite a while. And then at one point, we started seeing you kind of take some shots at that 23. Were you trying to pick the pace up to catch back up to Ogle at that point, or was there just trying to get another position under your belt?
Well, it was a real dilemma. I wanted to just push Josh up and catch Tom and give us both a better shot, but the way I was treated by Miata all race, I just knew if I pushed Tom up to Josh, they were just going to gang up on me anyway. So Josh had a small slip, and I decided, I better just go now.
Now, speaking of slip and pushing Robinson towards the front, about halfway through the race, it almost looked like the old chrome horn came into play. Was that net code between you and the 23?
20. Yeah, I don't remember making contact with him. I know that in that really big checkup, I got into the 75, but I don't remember making contact with Josh. But maybe it happened.
We'll have the stewards review that one and see if the post-race paddlings will be handed out for this one. But so, Dwayne, I mean, we got some green flag runs late in the race. We know that's where you guys shine. Anything you would have changed on strategy, or was that all that was in the tank for you in the 83?
No, for strategy that was okay. I was happy with that as long as it didn't leave a big overcut undercut situation. The 11 and 23 surprised me. They came in sooner than I expected. I had to panic and get in the pits. The only thing I'd really like back from the race is sliding through my pit box on that last pit. The 23, myself, and actually the 6. We all slid and kind of gave Tom a chance to go run away for a while. So I'd take that back. But otherwise, I think it was a pretty good race.
Awesome, Dwayne. It's always a pleasure having you up here in the interview room. We don't do it often enough. Before I let you sign off and celebrate with the rest of the hooligans, who do you want to give a shout to that helped you bring home a second?
Just a shout out to all our league sponsors, Sim Racer Hub, Butt Kicker, AO Logs, Admin Box, of course, Victory Lane Sports, and Kimball. A shout out to all the lovely bastards that come out here and race. All the admins keep it running. Having our celebrity broadcaster James back in the booth. Hopefully Gareth is okay on his vacation wherever he is and hasn't been stung by a jellyfish or eaten by a shark or whatever happens in down under there. And that's about it.
Awesome, Dwayne. Always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you for having me, and looking forward to the show next week as well.
Yeah, buddy. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Thank you, sir. That was Dwayne MacArthur bringing it home in second in that number 83 machine. But up next, the man, the myth, the legend, Tom Ogle in the White Claw back, number 11, the second win of the season. Tom, welcome back. And, I mean, could you ask for a better race in that second half?
No. those guys sliding through their pits, I mean, it was a gift. For me, it's been the pits giveth and the pits taketh away. I wrecked in the pits at Pocono a couple weeks ago, so I guess it owed me one. I was more worried about them coming out at the same time and running me down with the draft.
Yeah, we thought that was going to be what was happening, but then they spent a little bit too much time side by side, I think. And I mean, at one point, just call it a 1.4-second gap the advantage. I mean, things just kind of went your way. MacArthur and Rice were battling for second. Lap traffic seemed to not be too much of a factor. And it seemed like you didn't have the rear end slippage and the looseness of the car that some of the other drivers were facing during that long run.
Yeah, I could cut to the bottom and not get loose coming up off as long as I stayed out of the bottom lane in turn 1 and 2. Everybody was loose down there, I think, but I had really good turn. I think the draft helps you, but then if somebody's right behind you pushing you, it does loosen you up like in the corners. So it almost like evened out, especially on old tires, I think. It didn't hurt me as bad as I thought. I thought it was a sitting duck when they got like a second and a half behind, like you said.
Yeah, and then especially with that pressure as well. I mean, it was twofold. You're hoping they don't draft up towards you, and with the amount of cautions we had early on, surely that was in the back of the head as well, saying a yellow is going to undo all this work for me.
I saw the guys in front of me like 3 wide, and I was like, oh no, please, just you don't want to like put pressure on those guys and get them nervous to stay on the lead lap, but yet you can't let up because the guys behind you are trying to run you down. So I was just hoping they held it straight because I did not want like a green-white checker where I would have pitted for tires and then some guys would stay out and then you have a caution. Oh, no, I couldn't take another loss like that after last week. And I've just been having a rough time lately. So I didn't think I was going to win one, especially at a 2-mile track, It's a kind of a nice present.
Yeah, I mean, things worked out perfectly for you. Another win, Pat, and a good points night for you and the team as well. So I know you guys are happy. And Tom, you've got the privilege, the pleasure, my friend, the final send-offs of the night. Who do you want to give a shout to that helped bring home that top result for you?
I want to thank Josh and all my teammates. We talked through the whole race, telling where everybody was running. Dwayne and all the admins for doing the league. You guys for broadcasting it. You do a nice job. And yeah, that's it. And White Claw, of course.
Yeah, naturally. Can't forget the title sponsor. Tom, always a pleasure, my friend. Hope to have you back up here next week. And thank you as always.
Yep, thank you. Have a good week.
You as well, sir.
Yep.
That was Tom Ogle bringing home another win for him and Team Miata in that number 11 machine. He was accompanied by Dwayne MacArthur second and Clint Rice with another third for the number 6. On behalf of the Kimball Cup Series, the Old Bastards Racing.com, as well as Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. My name has been James East. Thank you all so much for spending your Sunday night with us, and I'll see you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.